Oh, there you are, YouTube.
Okay, number 5 today. What is it? Maggie. I've never seen that.
Why it's Maggie?
I don't know.
So as you just saw, while I was at work this morning, they pulled out Maggie. This stars Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm very excited to watch this. I've had this movie for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years. Haven't watched it, but it's one that I've been very excited about. I know the reviews aren't great, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I might like it. Who knows? We'll see. Let's check it out. Okay, so the film is over. I have now finally watched Maggie. My thoughts on it are I just got home from a 13-hour workday and then ate dinner when I got home, which was around 8, and then I drank a beer while watching the movie. And for a big work day like that, and then to drink a beer and watch this movie is very difficult because it is a very slow moving movie. But I don't think that's to say it's boring or anything. It's one of those movies where it has, like, if a movie I feel like is slow but I like it, it makes sense, then I say it has measured pacing. But I don't want to say it's slow because I feel like that has a negative connotation. It's kind of like Nomadland, It's like if Chloe Zhao made a zombie movie. It's like if Terrence Malick, well, it's not really Terrence Malick. I don't know. There are some great shots in it that feel like Terrence Malick, actually. But, think along those lines. An indie film that moves slow. And I thought this was actually really interesting. The world which they've created here, this post-apocalyptic zombie world where people are infected, it's a very gracious society, very forgiving, very overly kind, I would say, because what's interesting about this, normally when people get bit by a zombie, they get turned very quickly or, within hours, but here it's like 6 to 8 weeks. So the society, so they've been dealing with this for a while, but it's like still a functioning society, oddly, to a degree. And, it seems like some things are shut down, some things are still working. Like, I feel like there was a gas station with no attendant, and I was like, did he just take that gas? Or did he use a card? I don't think he used a card or anything. But it feels very post-apocalyptic, but with a lot of functioning things still happening. People are still going on and living their lives, just doing their best to avoid being infected, which is just like any other zombie movie with a bite. But what's unique about this is that 6 to 8 week time period, because they're a very gracious society. They are, I would think once you're bit, they would just kill you, shoot you, or automatically put you in quarantine waiting for you to die. But instead what they do is they give you like 5 weeks with your family before you are brought into quarantine. And it's become a problem, not a big enough problem to stop this, but it's become a problem where people are hiding their family members, not letting people know that they've been bit, and then those family members are getting out and biting other people. And Arnold Schwarzenegger here is having this problem with his daughter. She has been infected. The movie starts out, she's infected, and he knows what he needs to do that 5th week or whatever it is. He needs to take her to quarantine, or should do that, but he doesn't want to do it, and he doesn't want her stripped away from him either by the authorities. So he's like talking with the doctor, like, what am I supposed to do? And the doctor's like, well, what they do in quarantine is they, give him this serum to drink, and it kills them very painfully. Like, it's not an easy death. You could give that to her now. You can put her in quarantine. If you give it to her now, at least you'll be with her. but they're going to give it to her in quarantine, but you won't be with her. And then there's the option of, and then I think he points to his shotgun or something, and he's like, and that's the way I recommend because it's quick, basically. So he's torn. What do I do? The authorities want to take her in, and he's like, no, over my dead body type stuff. And it's kind of great acting by Arnold, because I've never seen him like play this sort of emotional character. Like there's this moment at the beginning where he's hugging Abigail when he picks her up from the hospital after she's been bit, and he's like crying and hugging her and like talking to her in a way that I feel like I've never seen Arnold do before. Like this is some interesting acting to see him in, and it's such a small indie film, and you know, I grew up watching him in these big action films, and there's really not any action in here with him. It's unique in that sense when it comes to Arnold and what we know from Arnold, and he's not really using his brute strength. I guess he, you know, kills a few zombies, but it's just kind of like, you know, that's just the way it is there, you know, so it doesn't feel like, oh, Arnold's doing this because he's strong. It's just he's another person in the world doing this. But yeah, what was interesting to me was the compassion of the society by letting the infected live with the families for like 5 months before taking them into quarantine, because it just seems too risky. And it is risky, and risks, you know, bad things happen with that risky allowance. But it's interesting to see that, because you wouldn't think that would be the case for them to let you stay with your family for a while. You would think it would just be very quick. And it's post-apocalyptic, but it's like still slightly functioning. All of that was very cool. It was just a version of a zombie apocalypse that I've never seen before, and I thought it was neat. It was inventive and unique and all of that. So I thought it was good, but I don't know if I'd watch it again, because it is very slow moving. If I were to watch it again, it would be to just show it to somebody who really wants to see it. I don't know if I would show it to somebody who's never seen it and doesn't really care to. Like, I don't think I would convince somebody, but if somebody really wants to see it, I would sit down with them and watch it and enjoy it. But it is a slow moving film, but Arnold does some great work in it. So those are my thoughts on Maggie. So, have you seen it? What do you think of this movie? How would you, I don't know, what would you think? It's slow but in a good way, or is it too slow to where it's just a bad movie? I'm curious to know what other people think about it. Let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.